The forest was quiet that evening, only the wind moving between the tall trees. The human walked slowly, carrying his worn bag. His name was Daniel, a wanderer who never stayed in one place for long. His boots crushed dry leaves underfoot as he searched for firewood. But then he saw something strange. At first, he thought it was just a round stone glowing in the shadows. Yet when he moved closer, he realized it was no stone. It was an egg, larger than a man's head, faint light shining from its cracks. Daniel froze. His first thought was to leave it. The elders of the nearby tribe always spoke of cursed things in the forest. They said strange objects were left behind by forgotten beings, that touching them would bring death. But Daniel was not like the others. He felt curiosity stronger than fear. He crouched, looking closer. The egg pulsed, like it had a heartbeat. His hand trembled, but still, he touched the shell. It was warm, almost alive. His eyes widened. No bird, no lizard, no creature of the forest had such an egg. Behind him, the branches cracked. Daniel spun around quickly. A young hunter from the tribe stood there, bow in hand, his eyes full of fear. "Leave it," the hunter whispered. "It is cursed. If you take it, doom will follow you." Then, without waiting for a reply, the hunter ran, leaving Daniel alone with the egg. Daniel looked back at it. His heart pounded. Every part of him said he should run too. But something inside whispered differently. If it is cursed, why does it look so helpless? He thought. He remembered his lonely nights. No family, no friends, only silence, and now, before him, was something small, fragile and alive. He picked it up. The egg was heavy, but not unbearable. He placed it inside his bag and began the walk back to his shelter. All the way, he felt the warmth pressing against his back, as if the thing inside was breathing. That night, the sky was dark. Only a weak fire burned before Daniel's small hut. He placed the egg carefully near the flames, watching the light flicker across its glowing surface. The forest outside echoed with distant cries of beasts, but inside his hut, Daniel kept staring at the egg. Then it happened. A crack, sharp and sudden. Daniel's eyes widened. He leaned closer. His breath caught in his throat. Another crack appeared. Light spilling out, the egg shook, small sounds echoing from within. With a final snap, the shell broke open and a tiny creature tumbled onto the cloth beneath. It was small, no bigger. Then a cat, with dark scales that glimmered like wet stone. Its eyes were large, glowing faintly, like embers hidden under ash. It made a soft, weak sound, something between a cry and a hiss. Daniel stared. His heart raced. This was no ordinary beast. Its body looked fragile, but he could already see the shape of sharp claws forming. He should have been afraid. Yet when the creature looked at him, eyes wide and innocent, Daniel felt something unexpected. Pity. Slowly, he reached out a hand. The creature flinched, but then pressed its small head against his fingers. Warm and trembling, Daniel whispered, "So, you are mine now." Outside, the wind howled. In the distance, shadows moved in the forest, its unseen eyes watching. Somewhere, a hunter whispered to the elders, "The wanderer has taken the cursed egg." Fear spread among the tribe. They believed the egg would bring ruin. But inside the hut, Daniel sat with the tiny creature curled in his arms. He fed it scraps of dried meat. He gave it water from his flask, and when the fire grew low, the creature crawled close to him, seeking warmth. Daniel felt its heartbeat against his chest, and for the first time in years, he did not feel alone as he drifted into uneasy sleep. He did not see how the creature's eyes glowed brighter in the dark. He did not see the way the shadows outside seemed to retreat, as if even the wild feared this newborn thing. He only knew one truth. He had found something strange, something forbidden, but he could not leave it to die, and whatever it was, he would raise it. Even if it was cursed, even if it brought danger, even if the whole tribe turned against him. Because in that moment, Daniel had made a choice. And choices like these could change everything. Days passed, then weeks. The small creature grew fast. Faster than Daniel expected. What had been weak and trembling soon stood on firm legs. Its eyes sharper, its claws longer, its body filled with hidden strength. At first, Daniel feared it might turn wild. He remembered the tribe's warnings. "It will kill you," they had whispered. "No beast of the cursed egg can be tamed." But each morning when Daniel woke, the creature waited beside him. Its glowing eyes watched him, not with hunger, but with something else: expectation. He gave it food, meat he hunted, water he carried, and soon he noticed something strange. It did not eat like a wild beast. It waited, watching his hands. Until he placed the food down, only then did it eat, as if obeying some unspoken rule. The first time he called to it. "Just to test his thought," he whispered. "Come here." To his shock, the creature moved. Slowly, but it came. Daniel's heart jumped. Beasts of the forest never obeyed humans. Not even trained hounds of the tribe listened so closely. Yet this alien thing responded to his voice. He tried again, louder, firmer. "Sit." The creature tilted its head, then lowered itself awkwardly. Daniel laughed, a sound rare for him. But behind the laughter was fear. If it could obey, then it could also choose not to. One night, firelight flickered across the forest clearing. The tribe gathered around their own flames, whispering about the wanderer and his beast. The hunters were restless. "He has broken balance," they muttered. "That thing will bring blood upon us." The princess listened quietly, hidden behind the carved wooden posts of the great hut. She had not spoken yet, but her eyes carried questions the elders dared not ask. Back in his hut, Daniel trained the creature more. He tested simple commands: stay, follow, wait. Each time it obeyed, not perfectly, but enough to make Daniel's chest tighten with both pride and dread. One evening, danger came. A pack of wild forest beasts, drawn by the smell of meat, circled his hut. Daniel grabbed his old spear, heart pounding. He knew he could not fight them all. Their eyes glowed in the dark, their snarls sharp and hungry. The creature stood at his side. Daniel whispered, "Stay back," but the beast ignored him. It moved forward, shoulders low, tail twitching. Then it roared, a sound that shook the night. The wild pack froze, eyes wide with sudden fear. They had never heard such a sound. The beasts fled into the forest, leaving silence behind. Daniel lowered his spear slowly. He looked at the creature, his creature, standing tall. Chest heaving, eyes burning. It had disobeyed, but its disobedience had saved him. Daniel fell to his knees, running a hand over its scaled head. "You are not just a beast," he whispered. "You are something else." The next day, whispers spread faster than fire. A hunter had seen the pack run, had heard the alien roar echo through the trees. "It is growing," the hunter said. "It is not natural. No beast of the forest runs from another beast. Something darker is rising." The elders grew nervous. They spoke in circles, some demanding the creature be killed, others saying to wait, but fear was clear in every voice. The princess listened again. She had never seen the creature herself, but the way people spoke filled her with both fear and curiosity. "Why does it obey the wanderer?" she asked softly. "Why him and not us?" No one answered. Meanwhile, Daniel tested more. He wanted to know the limits of this bond. He threw a stick across the clearing. The creature chased it, brought it back. He commanded it to guard the hut, and when he returned hours later, it was still there, waiting like a soldier. But one night, A new test came. Daniel slept lightly. Dreams broken by a faint sound. A shadow crept near his hut. A hunter with knife drawn. Sent by frightened elders, Daniel stirred. But before he could rise, the creature moved, silent as smoke. It caught the intruder by the arm, claws sinking deep. The hunter screamed. Daniel leaped up, shouting, "Stop! Stop!" His voice echoed, and to his shock, the creature obeyed. It released the hunter instantly, blood dripping from its claws. The hunter stumbled back. Face pale, eyes wide with terror, he ran into the night, shouting, "It listens to him. It listens only to him." Daniel sat in silence, heart racing. The creature curled beside him once more, calm as if nothing had happened. But Daniel knew. This was no longer about curiosity. This bond was power. Power no tribe, no elder, no hunter could ever ignore. And outside the hut, unseen, the princess watched from the shadows for the first time. She saw the truth with her own eyes, and she whispered to herself, "That thing should not obey, but it does." The morning sun rose over the forest, its light falling across Daniel's hut. Inside, the creature stirred, stretching its scaled body. It was no longer small. Its back reached Daniel's chest when it stood upright. Its claws were sharp, its teeth gleamed, and its eyes glowed like burning coals. Daniel sat by the fire, sharpening his spear. He had noticed how quickly the beast grew, faster than any animal of earth. Each week brought new strength, each day new hunger. That hunger became a problem. Daniel hunted deer and rabbits, but the creature ate more than he could bring. It watched him with wide glowing eyes, waiting. Restless, its body twitched with instincts Daniel could not control. One evening, the creature paced near the edge of the forest. Its tail lashed, its head low. Daniel followed, uneasy. "Stay close," he whispered. The beast flicked its ear but kept moving. Suddenly, it froze. Its nostrils flared. A sound rumbled. From its chest, before Daniel could stop it, the creature leaped into the trees. Moving like a shadow with terrifying speed, Daniel ran after it. His boots crashed through the underbrush. His breath came heavy. Then he heard it a cry, sharp and wild, followed by silence when he arrived. He saw the creature crouched over a fallen stag, its claws dug deep, blood staining the ground. Daniel stopped, staring. The stag was large, strong, yet the beast had killed it in seconds. Its muzzle lifted, blood dripping from its jaws. For a moment, Daniel's heart froze. The creature looked terrifying, a predator born. But then it did something no wild hunter would do. It dragged the stag closer to him, dropping it at Daniel's feet like an offering. Daniel's hand trembled as he touched its head. "You hunted," he whispered, "but you hunted for me." From that day, the creature began to hunt regularly. Each time it brought prey back to Daniel's hut, laying it down like a soldier. Reporting to a master, Daniel realized this was no accident. It was loyalty, yet word spread quickly. Hunters saw the carcasses. They heard the beast's roar echo through the night. They whispered that the cursed egg had grown into a monster. It kills without mercy. They said, and it obeys him. Fear grew in the tribe like smoke before fire. The elders gathered, their faces grim. "This cannot be allowed." One said, "The beast grows too strong. It will turn on us." Another shook his head. "It does not turn on him, that is worse. For if he commands it, he commands death itself." The princess sat silent, listening. Her eyes narrowed as she thought of the stories she had not yet spoken. But she remembered the night she had seen the beast obey Daniel's voice. She remembered the hunter's scream. She remembered her own whisper, "That thing should not obey." And yet it did. Back in his hut, Daniel struggled with fear and pride. He watched the creature sleep, its chest rising and falling, its body scarred from hunts, its muscles heavy with power. "You are not just an animal," he murmured. "You are something more." But what the answer came one night, when shadows crept again. Assassins, masked hunters sent by the council. They thought to end it quickly. They thought to strike before dawn, but the predator was awake. It rose before they reached the hut. Its growl shook the air. The hunters froze. Daniel leapt up, grabbing his spear, but he did not need it. The beast lunged. Its claws slashed. Its roar tore through the clearing. The hunters scattered in terror. One bleeding, one dropping his blade. None daring to return. Daniel shouted, "Enough." His voice rang like a command. The beast stopped instantly, panting, its eyes burning, but it obeyed. It returned to his side. Lowering its head like a hound, the forest fell silent. Only the sound of retreating footsteps remained. Daniel's chest heaved. He knew what this meant. The tribe had tried to kill them. They would try again. The next morning, the princess came. She did not enter the clearing. She stood at the trees, her cloak hiding her face, but her voice carried. "Why does it listen to you?" she asked. Daniel turned, surprised. He saw her, tall, proud, yet curious. He answered simply, "Because I raised it." The princess stared at the beast, now calm by the fire. She saw its glowing eyes, its deadly claws, the power in its muscles. And yet she also saw the way it leaned against Daniel, like a child to a parent. Her lips trembled. "No beast should obey a man," she whispered, "but yours does." Daniel did not reply. His eyes followed the flames. His hand rested on the creature's head. He knew the truth now. He had not only raised a beast, he had raised a predator. The world had never seen a predator that listened only to him. And that bond, he realized, was both salvation and doom. The nights grew colder. The fire in Daniel's hut burned brighter, and the predator curled beside him, larger than ever. Its scales gleamed like black stone. Its breath steamed in the chill air. But Daniel was not the only one watching. From the shadows of the forest, the princess came often. She wore a cloak to hide her face. Her footsteps were silent. She never stepped too close, never let Daniel see her, yet her eyes followed him. And the beast at his side, she had heard every whisper in the tribe. Elders who called him dangerous, hunters who swore the beast would one day kill them all, children who cried at night after hearing its roars. But what troubled her most was not their fear, it was her own silence. She had never spoken against the elders, never told them she had seen the truth, because what she saw when she watched Daniel was not a curse. It was something else, something no story had ever told. One evening, the princess hid behind a tree. Daniel knelt before the beast, speaking. Softly, his hand rested on its neck, his voice calm. "Stay," he said. The predator growled, but lowered itself to the ground. Its glowing eyes fixed on him. She felt her breath catch. This was not a monster obeying instinct. This was something like loyalty. When he left the clearing, the beast stayed exactly where he had told it to, silent, waiting. The princess pressed a hand to her lips. Her heart beat fast. She whispered, "It listens. It listens only to him." The next day, in the council hall, the elders argued again. "We must act," one demanded. "The creature grows too strong. The wanderer commands it as a weapon." Another elder slammed his staff on the ground. "If we do nothing, it will destroy us. The princess must decide." All eyes turned to her. She stood tall, though inside her heart trembled. She said only, "I will watch. I will know the truth myself." Her words surprised them, but none dared challenge. She was the blood of kings. Her voice carried weight. That night she returned. This time she moved closer, almost to the edge of the firelight. She saw Daniel roasting meat. The predator crouched nearby. its body like a mountain of muscle, but its eyes soft as it waited for his hand. Daniel fed it first, before he even ate himself. The princess had seen hunters feed dogs. She had seen men train hawks, but this was different. No leash, no chain, no cage. The bond between them was invisible. Yet stronger than any rope, she stayed longer than before. Listening to Daniel speak in the quiet, "You are not just a beast," he told the creature. "You are my companion, my family." The words cut into her heart, for she had family, yet felt none of that closeness. She was surrounded by guards. Elder's duty, yet never by warmth. When the fire died, she slipped away. Her thoughts heavy, her dreams restless. In them, she saw the predator standing before her people. She saw Daniel at its side. She saw herself reaching out her hand. But she did not know if it was to strike or to touch. Days passed, the tribe grew louder. Hunters sharpened their blades. Elders whispered of another attempt. Next time, one said, "We strike not the beast, but the man. Without him, it will turn wild." The princess clenched her fists in silence. For she had seen with her own eyes, it would not turn wild. It would turn wrathful on the seventh night. She returned again. The moon was full, light spilling across the clearing. Daniel lay asleep by the fire. The beast curled near him, its body coiled like a serpent, its eyes half open, glowing faint. The princess stepped forward, closer than ever before. Her breath caught when the beast's head turned. Its eyes met hers through the dark. She froze, not moving, not breathing, but to her shock, it did not roar, it did not strike. It lowered its head again, as if it had judged her harmless. Her knees weakened. For the first time, she stood before the predator without fear burning her skin, she whispered, so soft the night might swallow her words. "Why do you let me live?" But the beast gave no answer. It only pressed itself closer to the sleeping man, as if to say, "Because he has not told me otherwise." The princess fled before dawn, her cloak catching on branches, her heart pounding. She could not deny the truth anymore. The elders were wrong. The hunters were blind. This was no simple curse. This was something greater. And now she carried a secret no one else knew. She had seen the predator's eyes. And they had not burned with hatred. They had burned with choice. She whispered to herself as she reached the safety of her chambers. It does not obey us. It obeys him, and that is even more dangerous. But deep inside, hidden where even she could not see, there was another thought, a dangerous thought that made her chest ache. What would it be like if something that powerful obeyed me? The sky was heavy with clouds, the air thick with the smell of burning torches. The tribe gathered in the open clearing for the sacred ritual. Drums echoed through the trees. Warriors painted with ash and blood circled the fire. Their voices rose in chants that made the ground tremble. Daniel stood apart, watching from the shadows. He had been warned by whispers in the night. He knew this was no ordinary gathering. This was a trap. And beside him, the predator shifted restlessly, its scales gleaming in the firelight, its muscles tense like a coiled spring. The elders stood before the crowd, their staffs raised high, their voices thundered. "The cursed beast has grown too strong," they cried. "It threatens our children. It threatens our gods tonight. We end it," the crowd roared. Spears lifted, bows drawn. The princess sat at the edge of the ritual, her face pale, her hands trembling inside her cloak. She knew what was coming. She had begged the council to wait, but they had silenced her. Tonight they would spill blood. Daniel stepped forward, his voice steady. "I raised this creature. It has harmed none of you. It obeys me." But his words were drowned out by shouts of anger. The elders sneered. "Then you will die with it." The first spear flew. The predator roared. Its body leaped into motion faster than lightning. The spear shattered against its scales. Warriors charged, dust rising in the night. Daniel shouted, "Stay with me." But the beast was already moving. Its claws tore through shields. Its roar split the sky. Men fell back in terror, their chants turning into screams. Blood stained the ritual ground. The princess rose to her feet, her heart hammered as she watched. The monster the elders feared was real, but so was the bond she had seen. The predator did not strike blindly. It attacked only those who raised blades against its master. Each time a warrior lunged for Daniel, the beast struck like a storm. The dust thickened, drums fell silent, replaced by the sound of steel and screams. Daniel fought too, his spear flashing, but it was the predator's fury that broke the tribe's strength. Hunters fled into the forest. Others dropped weapons and crawled away. Then silence. The clearing was littered with broken spears and fallen men. The fire crackled weakly, casting shadows on blood-soaked earth. The predator stood in the center, chest heaving, claws dripping red. Its eyes glowed like molten stone. Daniel stepped forward, placing a hand on its neck. His voice was firm. Enough. The beast froze, then lowered itself to the ground, like a warrior bowing to its commander. The tribe gasped. They had seen with their own eyes. This was no wild curse. This was obedience, power shaped by a single man's voice. The elders trembled with rage and fear. "Do you see?" one shouted. "He controls it. He will destroy us all." But their words carried less weight now. The people had seen the truth. The beast did not bow to them. It bowed to him. And then the princess stepped forward. Her cloak fell back, revealing her face to the firelight. All eyes turned to her, her voice clear, though her heart quaked. "He holds it back," she said. "Without him, you would all be dead." The elders tried to silence her, but the people murmured. They had seen the beast pause at Daniel's command. They had seen death held back by his hand alone. Daniel's eyes met the princess's. Across the clearing, for the first time, he saw no fear in her gaze, only decision. The night ended with ashes and whispers. The tribe broken, the elders furious, and the princess silent but watching. She knew something had changed. The people no longer feared the beast as much as they feared what would happen without Daniel later. Alone in her chamber, the princess trembled. She saw again the image of him standing in the dust. The predator bowing at his side. Her chest ached with a truth she could not deny. "He is no longer just a man," she whispered. "He is master of death." And with that truth came fear, but also something far more dangerous. A strange pull, a thought that made her lips tremble. If such a man can command a monster, what else could he command? Even me. The days after the blood-soaked ritual were filled with silence. The tribe did not sing their morning songs. They did not gather in joy. They whispered instead, whispering of the predator and the man who held it. On a leash made of nothing but his voice, the elders were furious. Their pride was broken. They gathered in the great hut, their voices sharp like knives. The people no longer listen. One hissed. They saw the monster bow to him. They saw him hold it back when we could not. Another slammed his hand against the wooden table. "If he commands the beast, then he commands us all. We cannot allow this." Their eyes turned to the princess. She sat with her hands folded, her face calm, though her heart pounded. An elder spoke directly. "Daughter of kings, it falls to you. You must kill the wanderer or kill the beast. Only then will balance return." The hall fell silent. Every voice, every breath, every gaze pressed against her like a weight. She raised her chin. "And if I refuse?" she asked. Her words were steady, though her fingers trembled in her lap. The elder snarled. "Then the tribe will be torn apart. Blood will flow until none remain." That night, the princess walked alone through the forest. her cloak wrapped tight around her. The moonlight fell through the branches like silver. She moved without torches. She knew where she was going. The hut stood quiet, Daniel's fire burning low. Inside, he slept on the floor. The predator curled beside him. Its massive body rose and fell with each breath. Its claws dug slightly into the earth as it dreamed. The princess stood at the threshold. Her hand gripped the hilt of her blade. The elders' voices echoed in her mind. Strike. End this. Save your people. Her chest tightened. Her breath grew shallow. She stepped closer. The beast stirred. One golden eye opening. Its gaze locked onto her. For a heartbeat, she thought it would rise and tear her apart. But Daniel stirred too, his hand brushing the beast's neck. Half asleep, he whispered, "Stay." And to her shock, the predator closed its eye and rested again. Her knees nearly gave way. Even half asleep, he commanded it. Even in dreams, the bond held. She stood over him now. The knife glinted in her trembling hand. She could strike, a quick blow, and it would be done. No more whispers, no more fear. Her people safe, the elders satisfied. But her eyes lingered. He looked peaceful, his face lit by the dying fire. The predator's head pressed against his chest like a child seeking warmth. The image broke her. Tears stung her eyes. Her grip on the knife loosened, softly, as if speaking to herself. She whispered, "I cannot." The word trembled in the air heavier than any sword. She knelt instead, setting the blade down. Her voice broke into a whisper he could not hear. "I need you." The fire cracked. Daniel stirred again. His eyes opened slowly. Meeting hers, he did not reach for a weapon. He did not rise in anger. Only looked at her with quiet understanding. "They sent you," he said calmly. She lowered her gaze. Ashamed, yes. The predator lifted its head, watching her. Its eyes glowed, but it did not move. It waited for his command. And she realized in that moment her life balanced on his word. A single sound from him could mean her death. A single breath could save her. Danya's voice was steady. "And what did you choose?" She swallowed. Her throat dry, her voice cracked. "I chose you." The words echoed louder than the elders' drums, louder than the beast's roar. She had chosen. And her choice would change everything. Daniel sat up slowly, his hand resting on the predator's head. He studied her with eyes that saw truth. "Then you cannot go back to them," he said, "not after this." She nodded, tears shining in her eyes. She knew it was true. Outside, the forest sighed with wind. The stars burned above. The choice of one princess had broken the chain of tradition. Her silence was over. Her path bound now to his. The predator growled softly, leaning its massive head against both of them. For the first time, the princess did not flinch. She reached out her hand and touched its scales, warm and rough beneath her fingers. Her voice whispered, "If you obey him, then perhaps I can stand beside him too." The beast rumbled, as if in agreement, and as dawn broke, painting the forest gold. The princess knew her fate was sealed. The elders had demanded blood, but she had given her heart instead. The dawn after her choice was not quiet. The drums of the tribe thundered again. Not in ritual, but in anger. The elders had summoned every warrior. Every voice, they declared the princess a traitor. They shouted that she had betrayed the blood of kings. Daniel stood at the edge of the clearing, the predator beside him. Its massive body gleamed in the rising sun. Its golden eyes burned. Every breath it took shook the air. Behind him, the princess stepped forward. Her head held high, though her heart beat like thunder in her chest. The people gasped. She was not bound in chains. She was not dragged as a prisoner. She walked freely to stand beside him. Her voice rang out, clear, "I chose him." The clearing fell into silence. No chant, no drum, only the wind in the trees. The elders shouted, "Then you are no daughter of kings." They raised their staffs, calling for the crowd to strike. "Kill them, kill the beast. Kill the wanderer, kill the girl who stands with him." But no one moved. The warriors shifted uneasily. Their eyes flicked between the elders' rage and the predator's burning stare. They had seen blood in the dust. They had seen the beast bow to Daniel's hand. None dared raise a spear again. Daniel's voice cut through the silence, low but steady. "You call this beast a curse. But it is your fear that curses you. You tried to kill it, and it spared you. You tried to kill me, and it spared you. You call it a monster, but it obeys. It obeys me, not you. That is why you hate us." The elders trembled, their words faltered, but the people murmured. They remembered the night of blood. They remembered the predator stopping at his command. They remembered the princess's courage to stand with him, and in their hearts, fear began to turn into awe. The predator growled, its tail sweeping the ground, its body tense. The crowd stepped back as one, but Daniel touched its neck and whispered, "Peace." At once it lowered itself, bowing its head in front of him. The sight struck the tribe like lightning. And then the princess did the unthinkable. She stepped forward and placed her hand on the beast as well. Her voice rang out, "It bows to him, and now I bow too. If you call that betrayal, then so be it. But I will not deny what I have seen with my own eyes." She turned to the people, her cloak falling back, her face bare without him. "Without this bond, you would all be dead." The crowd stirred, the elders roared with fury, but their voices cracked like brittle wood. The people had seen enough. They did not shout for death anymore. They whispered instead, whispered of a new power, of a new path, of a new bond. The princess moved to stand shoulder to shoulder with Daniel. Her eyes met his, steady and sure. "If they call you master of the beast," she said softly, "then let them call me the one who walks with you." Daniel's chest rose with a heavy breath. He had walked alone for years, carrying no one's trust but his own. Now, beside him, stood the princess, proud and unafraid. And at his feet lay the predator, obedient and loyal. The sun rose higher, lighting the clearing. The elders shouted again. But their words fell flat. The crowd no longer listened. Some even bowed their heads, not to the elders, but to the man with the beast. A new silence filled the air, heavier than any chant, thicker than any drum. The future had shifted. The tribe had seen it, a man, a beast, and a princess together, unbroken, that night. When the fire burned low and the people returned to their huts, Daniel sat in the clearing, the predator resting near him. The princess sat close, watching the flames. Her voice was quiet, almost lost to the crackle of wood. "Do you know what you have done?" Daniel stared at the fire. "I did not plan this," he said. "I only picked up an egg in the forest." The predator rumbled. Pressing its head against his hand, the princess smiled faintly. "And now?" "The egg has become a crown." Her words hung in the air, heavy with truth. For the predator bowed only to Daniel, but now the people had begun to bow as well. And the princess, blood of kings, had chosen to stand beside him. The fire burned low. The forest whispered. The tribe lay restless with fear and wonder, and Daniel sat in the center of it all, not knowing if he had raised a savior or a ruler of nightmares. But one truth was clear, clearer than the stars above. He was no longer alone, and neither was the predator, and neither was the princess. Together, they were something new, something no tribe, no elder, no world could ever control.